to teach, and I could only teach what I was taught. So if I was miseducated, that meant that my students were miseducated. I'm a product of the 60s. You might refer to me as an undercover revolutionary. Only because I knew, as a result of coming out of that era and being at Fred Hampton's apartment 4 hours after he was murdered, and seeing what happened to Malcolm X, and seeing what happened to Dr. Martin Luther King, that in 1979, about 2 months after I got married to my first wife, 3 o'clock in the morning, something hit me like a lightning bolt, and I heard a voice say, "You are going to have to pick up the torch and carry on the business that Dr. King didn't finish." I started crying because I didn't want to accept that. Say, "No, God, you find somebody else for that, because I want to live my life. I don't want to die." In the 60s, the last poet said, "It is better to die for a cause than be caused." I did not want to be one of those keynote leaders that ended up getting either my character assassinated or be a victim of physical assassination, because I was real selfish. You know, I wanted to do my thing. I didn't want to go out like that. I wanted to have some fun. I mean, in 1979, I was 29 years old. I was just beginning to learn about what life was all about. So I asked God that you got to take that to somebody else, because I can't handle that. Not today. But now we need to get back to the question of the day again. What will be the responsibility of the African American man in the next century, the new millennium, and our people's future? The solution is simple, but not easy for many African American men. Many say, if I could only have the time, I'll send money instead. Our future needs time and personal contact. Not to say that they don't need your money, but they need a helping hand. They need to see you with their eyes. They need to touch you. They need to talk to you. African American men are at a turning point. These boys are our children, whether they are biological or not. We have reached out to these boys, and we need to. I know I have, and there's other men in this room. I can't speak for everybody, but many of us have reached out to these boys as early as the first grade through high school. When I resigned from the Board of Education in 1979 for my first time, because I did go back, I just couldn't help myself. I made a commitment that I would go into the high schools and talk to the students at least once a month. And I got involved with the Chicago Association of Commerce and Industry's Youth Motivation Program, where I went in and talked to the young people and shared my experience with them. At that time, I did not know I would be where I am today. I knew I would be somebody, but I didn't know who or what I should say. As a result of speaking from 1979 up until 1988, when I joined Toastmasters International and started honing my speaking skills, then I realized that what God really wanted me to do was to communicate with people and share my personal experience. Because I could read all the books on the planet, but until I obtained some personal experience as a result of taking that knowledge, because one of the largest misnomers, which is a fancy word for a lie, is that knowledge is power. Knowledge is not power in the distilled or pure sense